Hello and welcome back to another episode of Media Munchers. I'm Mathian.
And I'm Adrian.
And we got a lot going on today, but also not too much at the same time. So I'll get us started real quick with the Muncher Minute, and we'll take it from there.
Sweet, man.
All right,
What is it?
Well, so my Muncher Minute is it's from a subreddit called Interesting as Fuck. And it reads, John Brower Minogue was an American man who weighed at 1,400 pounds. He was known as the heaviest human ever recorded. And as you can see from the picture, he was a big boy. And I was reading into it a little bit, and first things first, they correct it right off the bat. And it's actually not that person they named. It's actually Robert Earl Hughes. And so they brought us to the Wikipedia page, and that's the guy we saw in the image. This guy was still the heaviest human man in the world, able to walk without the need of assistance. So his extreme weight was attributed to a ruptured thyroid gland, and so that allowed him to reach a peak weight of 1,071 pounds, with the chest measured at 10 foot 3 inches, or 10.3 feet. It's crazy. Yeah. But he was so mobile that in 1944, at age 18, he was drafted into the army, and he weighed 709 pounds at that time. I was surprised that, one, this was in the 40s, right? But it's not like he was just slamming McDonald's all the time, right? It wasn't different.
Like how did he get that big?
And yeah, I didn't realize that the thyroid had so much control over how much weight you can balloon up to. Mm-hmm. When I was reading about the other guy who was mistaken in the article, it said that it had to do with a thyroid issue, and it was just vast amounts of fluid that were being held inside the body. It wasn't necessarily fat. So you were just swollen up like a balloon, but with liquid, right? I just thought it was crazy because I was like, man, how does someone get to this level? But the fact that the other guy, that Mr. Robert Earl Hughes, was mobile at that weight was crazy. Just carrying around all of that, like a small car or like a really heavy motorcycle. I don't know, that was crazy. So that was my Muncher Minute. I was like, damn, imagine. I'm fascinated with the extremes that humans can go to. Like later we could talk about the world's tallest man, his issue. I'm sure you've seen the dude with the glasses. I forget his name. He's like in the Ripley Museum, and he's he was over like, I don't know, he was crazy. It was like 9, maybe. I think it was over 9 feet, maybe even more. Yeah, the dude was tall. We'll get into him another day. That'll be another Muncher Minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was so much. That Minogue guy, his weight steadily increased until his hospitalization in March of 1978 at age 36 due to heart and respiratory failure. So he also lost hella weight. But anyway, what do you got?
So Kendrick Lamar, he's finally coming out with a new album.
Finally.
It's reported that it will be released May 13, and the title of it is Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Yeah. That gives me feelings of like I don't know, like he might be going the way of Silk Sonic. It sounds like kind of like a certain like a band.
From what I heard, it's supposed to be influenced by rock.
Oh, interesting.
Possibly. I don't know if that's still the plan. I heard that a while back.
I hope it is, because it's always fun to see artists step outside their genre. Yeah. I like that. I just like seeing what people can do. Yeah. I know it's not exactly the same thing, but it's close enough. If anyone's familiar with the band Weezer, they were always kind of like, I would call them like alt rock, or kind of alt indie rock or whatever. Yeah. And then they had a Van Weezer album, and it was obviously like really heavily influenced by like hard rock and stuff like that. So it was kind of like a small pivot, but still a pivot. And I enjoyed hearing it. I enjoyed hearing that whole album. So hopefully Kendrick takes some more steps outside of his genre. I'm trying to hear what he's got to say.
In the genre of rock. I wonder what we can read into from the title.
That's what I was reading into. I was like, is this going to be some sort of Silk Sonic situation where like they come together with like not a big band, but like a band, so to speak, you know what I mean? Let me ask you, what have you read into that name at all, if anything? Anything?
Well, yeah, no, because I think it's funny how like we kind of look to Kendrick Lamar as like a cultural influencer in a lot of ways, and I don't know, maybe Mr. Morale is like him,
sure,
and how like his fans kind of view him,
sure,
and possibly the Big Steppers could be like his closest followers or something.
Oh, you think it's more of like a conceptual naming
like a
scheme as opposed to like a literal like band name? Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay, that's not how I read into it at all. Now I really want to know what's going on here.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I'm just making guesses,
but hey, you never know with Kendrick. There's always some deeper message.
Right, exactly.
You never know. We'll see. Yep. When does it drop? Do you know the details on that?
May 13.
That's quick. It's around the corner.
Yep. Couple months. Or weeks. Yeah.
Where are we in April?
Yeah, we're in April.
We're at the end of April. A couple weeks.
Man.
Damn, time's flying.
Yeah.
I'm not with it. I don't like it. Well, that's pretty cool. So that was your Muncher Minute?
Yep.
Nice. I guess we should pivot into news. You wanna hit it off for us? Real quick?
Sure. So, Doctor Strange is coming out. What, May 7th? May 6th?
I think it's the first calendar week of May.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That first weekend, May 6th ish.
Right. So, apparently one of the actors, Bruce Campbell,
Mm-hmm.
who plays a small part in Doctor Strange 2.
Sure.
He's hinting at last minute changes enforced by Marvel on the movie.
Last minute.
Apparently this was for during reshoots.
Sure.
However, there were changes to the actual story that were done in those reshoots rather than like just minor pickups.
Do you think that has anything to do with X-Men? Because I feel like at this point with the whole
It
Dr.
could, right?
X stuff,
Yeah.
Xavier.
Yeah, and that's sort of what he was getting at, is that they're doing so many movies at once.
Yeah.
The storylines are always constantly evolving, and obviously all of them are supposed to allude to each other. So
Yeah.
So, making those connections, they sometimes happen late in the process.
How late though? Like how recent is it?
Yeah.
Because dropping like a month or so.
Right.
And I'm sure they've had fan screenings already.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he
or critic screenings.
like said specifically when it was.
But yeah, as I was saying, it has to do something X-Men related, because either they're bringing more people into the fold sooner, maybe like they just cast like Fantastic Four actors or something, and they're bringing them into the fold sooner, or something. They got to spin off something and connect something somewhere. So it's exciting. How much do you think that's detracting from the main story, or is it not much? Do you feel like it's just kind of shoehorned in at the end, kind of like, hey, look what we have to offer?
I hope it's not. I hope if it kind of doesn't really follow with the main story of Doctor Strange, that'll be more of like a post-credit scene that he's referring to. But
you never know, because I mean, even not too long ago, Benedict was concerned, like, how much of this is Doctor Strange movie? It's kind of just like a platform for a bunch of other things to happen. It feels like, or it's what it's sounding like. I don't know, something to consider. What else you got with that? Does that wrap up our news section?
Yeah. No, we have Thor: Love and Thunder trailer. And
great. We're gonna take a small break and we'll be back with these trailer reviews.
Yep.
So Thor: Love and Thunder first, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Nice. There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
But also so much left to be desired. So finally, I'm glad we have a trailer for that finally.
Yeah, I know. Comes out in July.
Also around the corner-ish. Definitely sooner than later. So that's exciting. What I'm really looking forward to most is, still haven't seen any hints of Gore the God Butcher, played by Christian Bale.
No.
But we are introduced to the gods, specifically of Olympus, I think is what we saw right there. Marvel's version of it.
I believe that was Zeus.
That had to be Zeus, obviously.
Yeah.
With a physical golden lightning bolt. Okay, interesting. I wonder how many other gods we're going to see from that pantheon. Because it's all, it's nothing's copyright. So DC and Marvel can have their own version of gods, as we saw in the Snyder Cut. So that's exciting. It's also exciting to see how many gods will fall. And because obviously they're probably going to find an excuse, maybe not for them to fight OG Thor and then Jane Foster Thor, which that's a whole other question I'll get into in a second. I hope they have a moment like that in Avengers 1 where they have to fight for a second and then they combine up and like team up to stop the bigger bad, but they'll find some sort of fan servicey way for them to have a scuffle. I know they will. They're going to have to.
Thor and Jane?
Yeah. Why not? Or do you think
so.
Do you think Thor's mature enough to like let it go and be like, nice to have you on the team?
I don't know. It depends on how she gets her powers, I guess.
That's another huge question. How does that? Is the oath gone, or the enchantment rather? Whoever wields this, so as long as they be worthy.
I mean, she might be worthy, because in the comics, something happened to where, it came, like she got the hammer as a way to save her from
cancer,
dying of cancer.
Yeah, but this is definitely okay. First of all, we have to answer: is this our Jane Foster from the OG MC universe, or is this like a multiversal?
Right. Yeah, because it could be.
Too many questions.
I don't know if they do that.
I feel like that
would make the story pretty complicated.
Yeah, and I feel like
it
would take away from
Natalie
Portman's time in the MCU.
Yeah, a little bit. At least.
A little bit.
I mean, obviously, it's still somewhat the same character, but a bit different.
Depends. Let's assume it is the same one.
Right.
then my biggest question is, unless they do the cancer thing, how does she go about getting these abilities? And also, is the oath or the enchantment from Odin even relevant anymore after it's been split to so many pieces? Right? Is it just like the raw Odin force and then just the hammer?
Right.
You know what I mean? So many questions.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Not many answers. Also, Beta Ray Bill. Do you think he's gonna get an appearance at all?
Oh man,
Because I'm trying to see him.
I'd hope so, but I don't know. Because for a while it was rumored Christian Bale was gonna play him, but
Right.
obviously he's Gore.
Right.
So I don't know that they're gonna put him in the movie. Considering that that would make it a lot.
Yeah, it would
lot of
turn into like a
different Thors
Doctor
and-
Strange 2 kind of
Yeah.
thing. A bunch of multiversal, or not multiversal, but a bunch of alternate Thors and such and so. Interesting.
Yeah.
I want Frog Thor.
He was in Loki.
He was right. Yeah. That was
Little-
awesome.
little jar or
Banished to the
something.
little end of time. But yeah, it's exciting. Great soundtrack. I'm excited to see what. I know the Guardians aren't going to be there for a while, but I'm excited to
Yeah.
see what growth if any like Thor goes through with them. Or he sees things a certain way. It's
Yeah,
interesting that he's choosing the retirement angle. You know, like he's like,
Right.
I'm someone for peace now. Like I'm done hanging up my hat. See how long that lasts, right? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. He's finding out who he really is.
Right, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's
Like-
cool.
Gonna have like a new origin story. Another thing too is I'm interested to see how the politics of Valkyrie running Asgard's gonna go, because
Yeah.
probably like she looks really bored in that shot. She's probably tired of the bureaucracy and like, not being a warrior.
Yeah,
It's funny how
maybe.
something that was kind of like an honor is kind of like have fun doing paperwork. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wonder how, if she's gonna get any action or how that's gonna develop, what new Asgard's gonna look like and all.
Mhm.
I'm just excited to see more Korg, honestly. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Those shots look awesome.
Yeah, everything looks amazing.
When they were on that rock with the, I don't know what kind of monster that was.
Some
in the
sort of
background.
I think that was ripped straight from the comics.
Yeah, yeah.
Which was tight and it looks beautiful.
And it looked almost exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
So
that
I'm looking
was
forward to
nice.
seeing how that develops. 110%. I'm ready to buy these tickets, man. Get at me. Where they
Yeah.
at? When's the pre-order?
Do you think you're more excited for Thor than Doctor Strange, or?
I'll say this. I have no doubt that Doctor Strange is going to be like a big spectacle and trippy and all of that. But I have more emotional attachment to everything that's going on in Thor personally.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say, "Oh, are you looking forward to?" I'm definitely like more invested in what's going to happen in Thor,
Yeah.
just because I like these characters and I love them more, as opposed to like Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I am kind of expecting Thor to be more of a emotionally engaging story.
I think so.
Yeah.
And you know another good question while we're on the topic is, even though it's brief, how does what happens with the Guardians here tie into Guardians 3, which has been delayed, of course, with all that other stuff.
Mhm.
Because we don't see Gamora and we don't see Nebula. So what's going on with them? And it's not even our Gamora. Like,
Oh no, Nebula was in the background.
was she?
Yeah,
I didn't see her.
She
Ooh,
was like behind Drax or something.
Oh, okay. Well, the big
Yeah.
question
But
was
Gamora.
was Gamora. What's up with that? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's fine if they're not going to be love interest anymore, but what's going on with that character post Thanos
Yeah.
and post?
I wonder
Retcon?
if they'll do like a comic booky thing where Guardians, they're at the beginning of the movie, and then like Thor leaving is the cutaway to
What they're
Guardians movie.
That would be interesting. So what they get into and all that.
Yeah.
As I understand it, that's also going to be the last outing of Guardians with this roster specifically. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with these Guardians characters by the end of the
Mhm.
third movie.
Right.
How many will stay around? I don't know.
Yeah, because it's rumored that like Rocket might even die.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Gonna miss that guy.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Let's see.
Should we get into the Buzz Lightyear trailer?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do
You
it.
have it up.
Experience it in IMAX. All right. Yeah, that trailer tells us a lot more about the plot. Actually,
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to tell us so much more. I think the coolest little sci-fi element, they kind of pulled an Interstellar thing where it's like
Right,
the time
right.
jump. That was really cool. And then we get to see all of the goons and what's his name again? Is it Zorg? The villain?
Emperor Zurg.
Emperor Zurg. Yeah.
Yeah.
We get to see him in action a little bit.
Yeah. I wonder if he's an emperor.
Well, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out the space lore
Yeah.
for Buzz Lightyear. That's cool that they built all that up. Why the robot cat? Less maintenance?
I don't know.
I just feel like that's interesting. What's wrong with real cats?
I don't know. I'm sure they'll have like a small story for why that is.
I'm sure they will. Taika again, man. He's in everything.
Yeah.
Good for him. I love his voice. He has a lovable voice.
Yeah.
He's perfect for voiceover, honestly. I mean, he does great acting. Yeah, there isn't too much for me to say because I'm not deep in the lore like that. It's just I remember from Toy Story and like we all do.
Well, yeah, they didn't really have much of a lore, I guess. For
Yeah, they really built it
Buzz.
out
Yeah.
for this movie.
Yeah.
But you know what? Visually, It's really nice. I really like the animation. So
Yeah.
maybe we will experience. Maybe we will. Do you think they animated it in IMAX or they're just blowing it up?
I don't know.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
Does it matter to you?
I don't know how that works.
I don't know either. How do you animate for IMAX? A bigger canvas.
I guess.
That's cool. What are your thoughts on it?
I think it looks great.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see. I mean, Chris Evans already sounds like the right choice for Buzz. And I've always liked the character Buzz Lightyear.
For sure.
So yeah, I think it's gonna be good.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It seems like they got the humor tuned just right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's gonna do wonders. Okay, now here's a question. It's got to be straight. I mean, especially with the IMAX thing, it's going straight to movies, right? None of this direct to Disney Plus.
Yeah. It is going to theaters.
Good. I mean, they got to see a return on this one, man.
Yeah.
Especially with this cast. Some people on there who need some money,
right.
for sure, or who demand some, who needs some. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. We'll take a brief break again because I'm just so thirsty, and then when we get back, we'll hit into the Moon Knight episode 4 review.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Episode 4 Moon Knight. It's to me it's this awkward middle episode where like enough has been established that some stuff needs to start happening, and it does, right? And then we're pushing towards that climax, those ending 2 episodes. So we have Layla and Mark off the cusp of that the events in the last episode where the sky was moved, Khonshu was imprisoned, and briefly at the start we see Khonshu, his statue, among 9 other statues. Mm-hmm. Does that mean 9 other gods are imprisoned? More questions that I have, right?
Probably
if so,
something like that.
Who are they and what did they do?
Right.
Et cetera, et cetera. So that's a little tidbit at the start.
Right.
And what do they do with those later? Do all those get released at some point? It's just something to think about. Thinking about that prison.
Right.
I'm thinking about that prison. I want to know what's going on there. Who keeps it? That's just okay. But this episode has us delving into Layla and Mark's relationship. We're getting hints as to what happened between them in the past.
Yeah.
How they met in the first place through Layla's father. Or him ceasing to be, rather. We'll get into that. And then what Layla is capable of. There's a lot of that in this episode. What is she capable of? And then finally, Arthur Harrow's tying into everything. That's the best way I can put it. It's a lot of relationship stuff and dynamics while still trying to squeeze like an adventure out of all of it. So they're going to the, I don't know what you'd call it, like a tomb, I guess. They're looking for Amit, right? Amit's little statue.
Little trinket
thing, yeah. And we find out later in the episode that it's stored inside like the throat of
it was
Alexander
all the way
the Great.
down,
like in the chest, right?
What's it?
Alexander the Great, right?
Yeah.
Because there was Macedonian writing. Yeah, it was Alexander the Great, I believe.
Yeah.
We'll double check later. Okay. I'll put it up on screen if it's not. It was definitely Alexander the Great because he was like, this is Macedonian writing and all that.
Right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And he was like, oh, and anyway, so they found that tomb, the long lost tomb. He pushes it open, he gets the trinket out, and before then, by the time he gets it out, Layla's already been told the truth by Arthur Harrow that her dad, who was an archaeologist, we learn, and his whole life's goal was to prove that Egyptian gods walked among us, was murdered by a mercenary that I guess Mark was also involved with. He brought him in. Was Mark a mercenary? That has to be what his skills came from, right?
Mark is a mercenary.
Right.
And Steven's a gift shop.
And Steven's the gift shop worker.
Yeah.
Steven of the gift shop. Gift shop. That's that the official term?
That's what he kept saying.
Same. Yeah. So anyway, so Layla's got beef, and it's so weird seeing them interact. Like she's like, they're talking about a third person as if they're not there when they are, but just inside Steven's head. It was so interesting, all of that. And there was a lot of weird moments too that we called out. Like she's like, no, just like him. Like, why'd you?
Yeah. The second later, she's like, why? Well, yeah, you would.
Well, of course. Why would you?
Like, why wouldn't you?
All this weird stuff, and I don't know. Did it seem? It's weird, but it's not weird because she's like falling in love with a really similar man, but not the same man.
Right.
Because it's like it's the same physical man, but with a different personality.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, this is so weird. Like, where did this come
I think in some ways it does kind of make sense.
It does because but it doesn't.
Yeah.
But it does.
I don't know.
It was just bizarre to see.
But it's funny like that they were arguing over like why Steven was into Layla.
Right. Yeah. And why was he?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
He's
got a good taste, I guess.
In the same interest. They had the same interest.
It's like the same women, I guess.
Yes.
I don't know. But let's go back to the top. Those people, I just have to say this. Those people sucked. The people who were like shooting at Layla, they sucked.
Oh,
their whole job.
It didn't even feel like there were any stakes.
That's what I was going to say. It didn't feel like, I was like, what is this? The flare, the bullets? What is going on here? Like, why?
And why was that her only weapon the whole episode?
Right.
Just a bunch of flares.
It was so weird. Yeah, and then she like flared that mummy looking
the
quiet place monster. Did it have a name?
The Hecka priest.
Hecka priest, sure.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
It was trippy. Everything about this episode was just trippy. I'm like, what is going on
It
here?
was really cool though, that scene. Like I liked how like that how the hand was like reaching out.
Yeah, the horror elements worked for me.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Cool.
The only thing that was kind of weird is when she got pulled in the first time. That was scary. That was a good like little jump scare.
Yeah.
And then she ran out and she got pulled in again. I was like, that looks a little corny. The way she ran, it was very Scooby Doo for me. I was like, all right, it was kind of weird. But yeah, it was good. It was good. Her throwing him off the cliff, I was like, bruh. And then she catches herself. I'm like, on what? She was flying off that cliff with him. I mean,
I couldn't track the way she was flipping. Like,
I don't know.
What way was she?
I was like, that's some movie magic right there, man. There's no way you didn't follow your death there. That's crazy. Also, was that Steven's first kiss? Because that shit looked awkward as hell.
I bet you it was.
I bet you it was, right?
Yeah.
That was weird. Okay, I like the small attention to detail. Because the second time around, I didn't catch it until then. But
yeah,
remember how he said, like, if you kiss her or you touch her, you lay one finger on her, I'm going to throw us off a cliff?
Yeah.
Well, instead of rappelling down that little tunnel thing, he just, like, his body falls.
Oh, right.
That had to be Steven.
Mark.
It had to be Mark throwing Steven down. I didn't catch that the first time. That was hilarious.
Yeah, no, did
That was good. Here's a goof that I observed. The reflection of the Eye of Horus didn't reflect off the table onto the ceiling accurately when Steven
I noticed
the light on. It was weird. It was
broken up or something.
It was just like the actual eyelid and then the inner iris, but it wasn't the extra. And all that was clearly marked by his finger.
The brow.
Right. All that was clearly marked by his finger, and like, if the table was reflective. All of that should have reflected. Put a flashlight on it.
You would think, right? I don't know.
I would think.
I mean, I don't know.
Sure, Egyptian magic, whatever. I think the CG guys were lazy or they missed the spot. Anyway,
probably overworked,
underpaid. That's probably what it is. So like I was saying, I enjoyed the adventure horror, and then namely at the end, the psychological elements that played in this episode. That everything from after he got shot by Arthur was like, my mind could not handle what was going on. Because like, something's afoot, right? Some things that play are they in their head? Are they in an alternate universe? Now we have the two personalities detached. He's apparently, it was Mark in like a psych ward, and he goes to meet like the Arthur Harrow like psychologist or whatever, the doctor.
Right. Did he have a different name?
I don't know if I didn't catch his name.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna call him Arthur Harrow psychologist. But,
right.
But everything was there. Any question you had about any identities that came to be or any experiences we've seen thus far, there was an answer for it. There was the movie, the Tomb Raider movie or whatever it was. Tomb Ravengers. I forgot the name.
Yeah, it was Tomb Busters.
There you go. Of course.
Yeah.
And then they had explanation for the moon god, because that was in the movie.
Right.
The little Egyptian like vases or containers, the cane, everything. His time in French Alps or wherever he was in that European episode.
Right. Yeah.
That was a painting on the wall. Everything.
Yeah.
There was an explanation for everything, and it's like really messing with his mind and our mind. Like, what is going on? But then he busts out. He realizes, like, he remembers what happened. And then he literally finds the physical manifestation of Steven inside that tomb they were just at.
Yeah.
But like in a white hallway in like some sort of weird hospital. Chandeliers are swinging. I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And then
there was that third tomb.
That's a huge question. Who was that? Layla get shot?
Or
she there with them?
Well, no, because Layla was
hiding
in the room.
She was in the room.
Oh,
you're right. She was in the psych room.
Yeah,
with the bingo
she
thing.
Called out the bingo card.
Right, and then there's also the illustrations of like the bird skull. I guess someone drew it. So literally, it was an answer for everything that could have possibly happened. So it was tripping me out big time. What else? We learned previously back in reality. We learned how Mark probably died was when he was, because he even tells Layla like he was shot too, and he was supposed to die too by the mercenary who turned on everyone. Yeah. But then it's alluded to that Khonshu stepped in and made a deal with him. That's why he's still alive as his servant, if you would. Yeah. So that was cool. The shot of Steven / Mark falling into the abyss after he was shot, sexy. I just had to say it. That was a beautiful shot. That
was cool. It reminded me of Get Out.
Yeah, something like that, like sunken place kind of that beat. Yeah, it was good. It was good stuff. But like I said, the show really messes with your head, especially at the end with all that trickery we saw, and the gaslighting was insane by Arthur Harrow. He was like, I just wanna understand and know what you're going through. He's like naming his symptoms and shit. I'm like, dude, chill.
Same with Layla.
Yeah. A
little bit, yeah.
He was kind of like messing with her head too with the whole thing, the whole speech about her dad. And she's calling him out now. She's like, well, obviously you want to tell me the secret. Go ahead, spill the beans.
Yep.
Dude, I gotta give props to her. When she came into that room, I thought she was possessed. She was livid.
Yeah, she was
Mark.
mad.
I was like, is she possessed? Like, what's going on here? That was great. I love that moment. That was fantastic.
Do you think it was Mark's third personality that they haven't gotten to that possibly killed her?
That is
her
a
parents?
hint that maybe. That is a hint that they dropped about the third personality in a previous episode, like we discussed, and they haven't touched it since. Granted, there's a lot going on, but that does make me curious, because if that third personality is really chaotic, like you can so chaotic that you can charm someone into a date and then never show up, but also maybe kill one of your personality's lover's dads. Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a wild card.
Yeah.
And how many personalities are there? We still don't know in the context of this MCU. We don't know.
Right. Maybe it's only one.
Maybe. Maybe. I don't know.
Right. At this point, this episode changes the whole logic of all the previous episodes.
That's what I was saying. Was because this episode, and we gotta get into that hippo at the end, that pharaoh, whatever that was.
Yeah.
That was weird. But like, yeah, what is objective reality? That's what this episode had me questioning. I'm like, what is real and what isn't?
Yeah.
It was a really fine line that we're now walking. It feels like it's really fractured, that whole psyche. So I don't know. My mind was just fucked this whole episode.
It also gives a bit of a cushion as to why the events at the beginning, like why they were being chased and like how they weren't being shot and all. Maybe like that has something to do with it.
Bro, if that's the explanation or that has something to do with it,
right?
Man, that would be.
That would clear things up.
That would clear a lot up. Because I'm like, what is going on here? How are they such bad shots? Because what really bothered me, like going back, I'll put it to bed after this, is that they're like, turn around. I'm like, and then the big ass light is shining in Layla's face. How would you know if someone's about to pull a trigger or not in that dark of environment with a big, harsh light on your face? And like, so a shot obviously misses her because bad guy aiming, and then she's able to get behind a car. I'm like, you would have been blasted before you knew you were getting shot at. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. But that might, if that can explain it, like the whole reality not being what it seems, a different set of rules, I'm for it, 110%. I don't know, what is real? Is this real?
Don't know, man.
No.
Trying to figure it out.
It's a good simulation. But yeah, this episode kind of got me back into it more. I don't know, like the episode 3 just wasn't sitting with me. I was like, what are we doing here? Yeah. You know what I mean? But this one just roped me back in. Now I have to know how it all goes.
Yeah, because the third episode kind of made it feel less complicated than the episode the concept of Moon Knight was for me previously, but now this one kind of changed it in a way that I wasn't thinking of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everything's changed.
Yeah.
Everything. So we'll see how it goes. Only 2 episodes left, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, just 2.
Gonna see how it goes. But those are my thoughts on Moon Knight episode 4. So one of the better episodes. And that, I guess, for Media Munchers, I'm Matthew.
And I'm Adrian.
And we'll catch you next time.